You can't hang out with chickens and expect to soar with eagles.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to my third official podcast. On today's podcast, our subject today that we are going to be focusing on is heat exhaustion. I have myself, Lawrence Machado, the owner of Soaring, and I have my special guest today, David Franks. David Frank is a strong hiker friend of mine that we have known each other through social media.
Yeah.
And we ran into each other recently at Fossil Creek. So today we are focusing on heat exhaustion due to the fact that there has been over many unfortunate events lately with people just passing away from the heat. And today it's unfortunate that we had the news discovery of the last hiker who had passed away. They had quoted as
environmental heat, what did they say? Environmental heat exhaustion.
Yeah, we don't know what to make of it. But she died due to the heat. And it's sad to say because this has been going on for a while. And now that Soaring Eagle has a platform and a podcast and a voice that's loud enough, we want to use this platform to share the awareness. And not only share the awareness, but educate. Educate,
Yes.
educate. So today, again, we are going to be talking about heat exhaustion. Heat exhaustion. What is heat exhaustion? Heat exhaustion occurs when your body overheats, usually due to prolonged exposures to heat temperatures or intense physical activity in the heat. The symptoms you can get from heat exhaustion is headaches, dizzy or fainting, heavy sweating, cold, pale, and clammy skin, fast, weak pulse, weakness or muscle cramps, and excessive thirst. Okay? These are things that you have to be aware of when you're hiking in this heat in the summer of Arizona or just anywhere that's hot. And these are symptoms that can happen very fast.
Definitely.
It sounds like this last hiker who unfortunately just passed away, the symptoms came really quick.
Mm-hmm.
What did you hear, David?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that we didn't hear in regards to that was, I know that she was talking about that they were saying that she was going to be hiking up to Tom's Thumb. We don't know that if it was on the way out or if she had gotten there and then came back. So from personal experience, yeah, it can jump up on you very quickly.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like. It took them a while to discover this. I mean, usually you hear it right away, but I guess they really wanted to be thoroughly sure. And unfortunately, it was heat. Now, heat exhaustion, if you're not acclimated to the heat outside or you're not an avid hiker, you're gonna feel it right away. The question is, where are you when you feel it right away, and do you ignore the signs that when it happens? And it's just, sometimes it's mind-blowing how people make it so far some places and then it hits them,
Well, and you think about this too. I mean, there's so many people, I know this is kind of going off this topic, but from a standpoint of being hydrated before you go out, so many people, when they hit the trails, they're not hydrated. So you talk about timing, for instance, with this young gal. Once you feel those first signs of being dehydrated, whether your stomach's bothering, whether you're getting, a mild headache, it'll go from step 1 to step 2, 3, and 4 very quickly. It could be in a matter of 10-15 minutes. It'll start getting worse unless you can do something about it.
Not to mention though, but it doesn't even matter if how much water you have with you on the day of or how much you're consuming. It's always 2 days or a day prior, along with electrolytes.
Yeah.
And I saw a clip of this hiker. She had a lot of water and she was stating she was drinking a lot, but again, did that take an accountable for that day? Did it help that day? And sometimes we're just confused and thrown off because they had a lot of water, or they were on the trail, or they told people, but yet these things still happen.
Yeah, no, I hate to say it, it's not what you're doing the day of or when you're out on the trail. It's what you've done the day before and the day before. And that's why it's so important that if you live in this climate and you're going to be active in it, it's a lifestyle.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I mean,
just walking from here to your car, I know everybody feels the heat. And I just don't understand how sometimes people put their body in places that it's not acclimated or it's not fitted for. You know, talk about the mind being different than the body. I feel like a lot of us are living in our head. And again, this is why I like coaching, you know, the healthy lifestyle, because you really got to connect with your body to be one with yourself, to get the signs, to feel and know everything. You could be in your head and be like, oh, I hiked this mountain 5 years ago. It's like that again. No, it's not. Yeah. You know, you have to be consistently training. Me and David are always out in the field. We're always under the sun. You see my posts, I'm always out hiking. It's a lifestyle, it is. Like David said.
You know, and it's, again, it can come on very quickly. And you have to be able to read the signs, know what they are, and then make a decision. Because if it goes beyond, you know, that heat exhaustion and you start borderlining into the next area, heat stroke, you're not going to be making wise choices.
Oh no, definitely. And that's why we're just sticking with heat exhaustion today, because you're going to go through heat exhaustion before the heat stroke. And that's, we don't hope you get to heat stroke. We don't even hope you get to heat. We're trying to make it to where you're very comfortable and your body is fitted for the sun and you're acclimating. And with that being said, David, share with us some of your strategies on stay hydrated and keep your electrolytes. What do you do?
Well, one of the things that I had just mentioned to you is it's got to be a lifestyle. I mean, I am out on the trails. I'm not going to say every day, but I'm out mountain biking, hiking, paddleboarding. You know, I'm doing a lot of different things where I am in the sun. And I don't look at the temperature and then make a decision on whether I'm going to go out that day or not. Because I've lived in this climate for 35 years, I'll go out at noon, 1 o'clock. But like we were talking about earlier, one of the first things that I do every morning is I'll take 10 ounces of water. I will take half of a fresh lemon. I'll take about a teaspoon, maybe 3/4 of a teaspoon of mineral salt, apple cider, organic apple cider vinegar, and MCT oil, and I mix that up, you know, into probably about maybe a half of one of these, that size. And that's the first thing I drink every day.
Just put that in your system.
And it just sort of gets all those good things in my system, from hydrating me to, the apple cider vinegar also helps hydrate. So does lemon. Great for gut health. I use the MCT oil, and it's just a great mixture to get my day started in the right direction. And that's just every day. That has nothing to do with, getting me going from a hydration standpoint. My hydration, when I go out, I will carry 3 liters of water in a hydration pack that I use when I ride and run. And I also carry a 20-ounce, like a Camelback insulated water bottle with my electrolyte drink in it.
There you go. And that right there is called a responsible hiker. A responsible hiker who is aware of their vitals beforehand and on hand, and carrying things with them. You should be carrying at least 3 liters of water out with you during the summer and consuming at least 3 liters a day. Out of my experience, we're in a different heat than California and Oregon. Like in this heat, I feel like you need to be consuming that much water if you're outside walking, playing, such because you're a sponge. The sun is just sponging you. And if you're going to live in this state, you need to be a responsible hiker and know what your body can handle, what your body needs, and how to sustain in this heat.
Yeah. The other thing too that I brought in today, just to show Lawrence and show everyone else, is my sodium that comes with me. I carry a vial of mineral salt and a vial of pink Himalayan sea salt with me whenever I go out. It is a must, along with so many other things that I use. I can honestly tell you from experience that if I'm out running, and I'll go out running, trail running, maybe a combination of hiking, trail running for anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours at a pop. And I've had many times where I'll cramp up. Maybe my calves will cramp up or something like that while I'm out there. I'll tell you, just a little bit of the mineral salt, just on your hand, lick it off your hand, and follow that with
Goes
some water.
a long way.
I would say probably no more than 5 to 10 minutes, the cramps are gone.
That is a cheat code right there, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, it's like, some people will use like pickle juice.
Yeah.
Some people might use whatever electrolytes are
Pickle
using.
juice.
That mineral salt is the bomb. And the greatest thing about it is you can buy a bag of it for like $15 that'll last you the rest of your life.
You don't have to go to, not to bag on REI, I love REI, but Walmart, you can just get this homemade remedy stuff.
Yep.
You're tapping in.
Yeah.
Instagram, hikers such as ourselves are giving you this information so you can tap in. I know half of you, or mostly all of you, have a jar of pickle juice in your refrigerator, right? But let's just say, it's part of being a responsible hiker, and it's part of your journey as being one with yourself. Is knowing what your body needs and intakes, and knowing how to live in this state, Arizona, how to live in the heat, more say. So.
Well, and when you bring up the pickle juice, you can go to the grocery store now and you can buy them in these like vacuum sealed bags, and it's the greatest thing. I don't necessarily eat the pickles themselves, but when you crack that thing open, there's probably, I would say, a half a cup of juice.
Oh yeah.
So just tear the thing open, just drink the juice,
man,
you're set to go.
Yes, revitalized. Stay away from Gatorade and all those sugars. Stick to more natural things that's going to really benefit you. Let's talk about things that can help prevent you from being so hot on the trails, strategies and techniques. One of the strategies I like to do is wearing lightweight, loose-fitted clothing, light colored and things that reflect the heat, that keep you cool. One of the things you guys see me wear all the time are these little gaiters, okay? I love those because I can pull them down on my face, I can cover my face, I can get them wet, and they keep my head cool. It is one of my biggest strategies when I'm doing an adventure or a hike. I just get this soaking wet, I put it over my head like a little ninja, I put my hat over, and it's keeping my body cool. And again, I can do longer hikes and such. So wearing a gaiter or something to keep your face cool. They have those cool rags you can buy at any sports shop, athletic shop. Comfortable loose clothes. I would stay away from cotton. That's not so heavy and hot in your body. And just anything that can reflect the heat.
Don't wear black.
Don't wear black.
I mean, you have to remember that the more sun that's hitting your skin, kind of like if as a guy, you might see guys out there without their shirt on. That's not a smart idea. One, you're going to get sunburn, and two, that sunburn, it's all about your body core temperature. So loose fitting, light color. I wear a bandana that is out of the same material that you have in that. I just wear it around my neck because of the size of my head. It's hard for me to wear those. They're too tight. But I wear a bandana around. I will wear loose fitting clothes. Definitely not black. White, light gray, women in pink or something like that would be fine.
Also, another cool strategy that I like is you can get like a water bottle, spray, and put it on a mister setting, and I promise you, get that and just every so often when you feel that heat kick in, it'll just cool down and just and that's one of my bonuses on adventures.
Well, in those the towels that you were talking about, they're called frog togs, And I carry one in my backpack all the time. You get them wet, you wring it out, roll it up, put it in like a Ziploc bag, and it will stay wet.
Oh,
now,
wow.
if you were to take that towel and just, I don't know, put it around your neck and walk with it, within 20 to 30 minutes, it will be dried out, and you would have to get it wet again with the water that you're drinking or something else. Otherwise, it's useless at that point.
That's a detailed fact right there.
For me, when I carry them, I have them wet, I put them in a Ziploc, it stays that way, it's in my backpack, so, God forbid I need to use it, you pull that thing out and put it around your neck, or for me, being bald, I'll put it over the top of my head, and it will help bring your body core temperature down quickly, and it feels good, and
that's the whole point. The body temperature core, keep it cool down, little techniques, and I love that. I loved how detailed you were on that, because I didn't know that,
with going back to body core temperature, I want to say that with heat exhaustion, your body core temperature is somewhere right around 100 to like maybe 100.5 in that range. And when the body core temperature starts to jump up a little bit, and we'll talk about this at a later time, but like with heat stroke, I want to say your body temperature is about 105.
Right.
And that, you think about that, like if you were sick, like had the flu, that's where your body core temperature is going to be. When you take your temperature, you could be 102 to 104. You hit like a 105, and you better be going to the hospital.
Oh, and nobody likes the flu. I know. I know.
So,
flu and the heat stroke. Man, that's just, and again, we'll talk about that in a minute. Before so, I want to talk about another technique that helps is not only do you want to stay cool wearing gear that keeps you cool, but have a strategy that when you're hiking, take frequent breaks in the shade. Find places to just cool off. Again, when we're hiking or you're a strong hiker, and I say this for myself, I'm always in my head. I'm always trying to get that record, or I'm always trying to push myself, I'm a guilt for it, I'm a competitive hiker. I love just pushing myself, but as I become a more responsible hiker, I'm treating my body with respect and care. And if I need to pull over, I check my vitals and I pull over and let the cool temperature keep up the cortex and keep it at the red line. Again, because you don't want to just abuse your body. Your body is your temple. It's your best friend. So with that being said, pull over, find some shade, a creek, dab in the water, take those opportunities and cool the body down, because there's nothing fun about racing in the summertime for anything.
And that's why it's so important. You go back to the clothing and stuff and what you wear on your head. You talk about finding shade. Well, sometimes finding shade in the desert's tough.
Yeah, you're right.
So if your skin, your face, your whatever is exposed to the sun and you can't find shade, you might have a problem. So
let's pause right there, and this is why we're doing the podcast, because we're going to try to cover every little aspect in the zone. If you can't find any shade, let's rewind. That means you need to do planning. If you didn't plan accordingly, I'm on this trail and there's no shade, you should have checked in and did some planning and look into that trail. Go on your maps on your phone, hit that terrain mode, see the topograph, see where everything's at, do some research. This is part of being a responsible hiker. I didn't grow a business just going out there. I did research and reading and learning and asking questions and making social contacts to learn these things. So now I can teach you guys and to prevent that. So if you're going to go see or challenge yourself to a new trail, do your research, ask questions, and make sure you have checkpoints. Do not put yourself in a predicament. That way you can avoid that problem and not know, because again, that's part of being a responsible hiker. I'll use a quick example and move on to the next one is the Grand Canyon. When you're down there in the box, there is no shade or anything. So you need to know if I'm gonna be dabbing in the water or what time of the day we should be hiking. And that's the next subject we're gonna be talking about is the time of day you should be hiking.
Yeah.
The best time of the day you should be hiking is anywhere in the morning to 10 a.m. You get that morning sunlight, it's healthy for your skin, it's good for you. Anything in between, it's all on you to be responsible. Cover your skin up, and know you have shading in some places and stuff. Because those peak hours and times aren't suitable and for everybody. You need to be a strong hiker and know how to sustain in the heat. So with that being said, know the time of the day when to hike.
And the trails.
And the trails.
Back to that again as well. Just knowing what you're doing. I don't think the summertime is a time to be, especially if you're in the Phoenix metro area, is a time to be too adventurous.
No.
You know, if you want to explore a trail that you've never been on before, wait until December.
Yeah, wait till it's cold.
Wait till it's colder.
Goodness. I mean,
if you're going to do something you haven't done before, do a little bit of homework. Like you said, be responsible.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we're out here to have fun.
Exactly. And I'm not against having fun in the sun. Out of all people, we aren't the ones telling anybody. But just be responsible. You know, if you're gonna challenge, you want to go check out a new place. You got Soaring Eagle here. You got people like David Frank you can meet and hike with. You have sources that you can use to still do that adventure and challenge. You just got to be mindful of how to go about it. So again, we're not saying don't hike in the summer. This is about being smart and responsible and us giving you good advice and criteria how to, hike in the summertime.
I'd be the last person to tell you not to hike in the
Me
summer
too.
or hike during the middle of the day.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you not to do something that I do myself.
Exactly.
But what I can do is I can make you a more responsible, more educated, have some of those safety tips. So when you do go out, you're going to be prepared for whatever you might run into.
Exactly. We're here to help and here to help you have fun.
Yeah.
We know the thrill. We're out there all the time. We just don't want to hear people getting hurt and giving a bad reputation to the state because, this is a hot state. We're not considered the hottest state, believe it or not, but we are a hot state.
Really? Who's hotter?
Utah.
No kidding.
Utah's the hottest state of all states.
Wow.
Right? You
I
would
wouldn't
think.
have known that, but
I know. I researched that.
I got to get up there and explore that.
I mean, I'm playing the heat. Recognizing early signs of heat exhaustion allows you to act quickly by cooling down and hydrating. So the second you are feeling the symptoms and dizziness and headaches, you need to pull over right away. Like, not 10 seconds, right away, find some shade, get in your phone, and communicate with your 4 contacts. And let's talk about the 4 contacts real quick. I know I say 3, but you know what? Let's make it 4. When you pick these 4 people that you're telling that you're going to go on a hike, you need to make sure that these 4 people are responsible as well. As much as you're being the responsible hiker and telling 4 people, don't just tell anybody. Tell people who are going to be checking on you and be thinking about you. Tell your mom, your sister, your girlfriend, your brother, your boyfriend, grandma, another strong hiker that is very aware. These people are going to check on you right away when they're not hearing from you when you said so.
Yeah.
That's my advice. That way, if something were to happen, God forbid, in the back of your mind, you know that you have 4 people who are going to be looking for you right away.
Well, and you're right with the 4 people. The only thing that I do personally is I have 3 friends, and on my inReach, I have 3 contacts, 3 friends that are equally strong hikers, runners that are experienced.
Right.
And then I hate to say it, I also have 911.
Yeah.
So Phoenix Search and Rescue, Fire Department, whatever it is, they're in there.
Right.
In my contacts list. So if I have a problem, those people are there. And those people that you have on your list need to be the same level of experience or stronger than you are, because in many cases for myself, if I'm out mountain bike riding, I could be 8, 9, 10 miles away from my car.
Oh, way out there.
So I'm out there somewhere, and someone's going to have to come and get you.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I have that problem, and unfortunately I have been there twice before, I've needed somebody, and they had to be a strong individual to be able to get to where I was.
Oh yeah, and those moments are a freak out. You're out there far, and you're ready to call 911, but do you want to call 911? Do you want to take that $4,000, $5,000 helicopter ride and be on the news and just have to deal with the whole chain reaction. Like, I was there, I've been there, and it helped to have friends who were fitted and knew where you were at and can come to you to help you, because it's a mind thing. It's one thing to hear these stories, but when you're in the position, you will feel the fear and the mind
plays tricks on you when you're in heat exhaustion, and then the body starts to quickly get worse. Your mind's going to play some tricks on you that you have not experienced before, and it's not something that I would want anyone to have to experience. And I think that's why we're here, because both of us have experienced that. I've experienced it a few times. I know you have. And, I think of this young lady that lost her life. She was there as well. And, I feel fortunate that I've had that happen twice, and I'm here to be able to share my experiences with others. And I think that's what really gives, I think I can speak for both of us in this. What gives us kind of a step ahead from some others is the experience, is that you've been there before, and Lord knows I don't want to ever be there again. But if I can keep one person from having to deal with what this young lady dealt with a month or so ago, I'd be happy.
You know what? Why don't you go ahead and share with us, David, your experience?
Well, it was probably 3.5 years ago now. I was training for an upcoming event. It was a 48-hour event that we were going to be summiting 11 mountains in 48 hours. And so during the course of really every week of training, I was putting in probably somewhere between 55 and maybe 65 miles, whether it be doing multiple repeats up Camelback or Piestua, or getting out and trail running and doing longer distances and not getting the vertical in. I was with a friend of mine, and we were over at the McDowell's, and we were going to go up.
McDowell's.
So yes, again, I was literally on the same trail as this young lady, except she was going to, her turnaround point would have been Tom's Thumb. My turnaround point was the top of Thompson Peak. And if you've ever climbed that before, you know that last, whatever it is, quarter a mile is literally like that. I was cursing the whole way up it. We got to the top of Thompson Peak just a little after sunrise. When we started heading back down, we had stayed up there, had some, got rehydrated, had some food, whatever we had with us. And when we started heading back down, when you head back down, you're kind of heading down I think it's part of the Dixie Mine Trail. And then you come off the Dixie Mine Trail and start working your way back up to the saddle to drop down on the Bell Road kind of side of things. We had cut off the Dixie Mine Trail and we're heading back, and my stomach started bothering me.
Oh man.
And I was starting to get sort of nauseated a little
bit. Nausea part.
And I knew what was happening at that point. And I knew that I could not, from where we were at, get to the saddle and then get back to the vehicle. Because even from that point, you're still talking about a fair distance. And being that the sun was up, we had the sun on us the whole time, and there's really not a whole lot of shade back there. And so I made the decision, and this is not the best of decisions, but I made the decision to split up. And you never want to split up, but I knew that I could not make it out that way, and I made the decision to go back to the Dixie Mine Trail and walk it out into Fountain Hills. That trail, Dixie Mine Trail, will literally go right into a neighborhood into Fountain Hills. And I figured at that point, I'm banging on somebody's door or jumping in someone's swimming pool or something. And so we split up. And long story short, as I got back to Dixie Mine Trail, it's getting worse. And it's a snowball effect that does not stop. And as it gets worse, it picks up speed. And I got to the Dixie Mine Trail, and I was able to contact a buddy of mine that super strong ultra runner.
Oh, thank God.
Has done like the Cocodona 250.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Done a ton of stuff.
That's a lifesaver.
I got a hold of him, and he told me, based on my voice on the phone, that he just said, David, you got to find shade. And I'm like looking around going, shade? What the hell are you talking about? There's no shade out here. And he just said, do whatever you have to do, find shade. And at about that point, I had sent him my pin location, and then my phone overheated and died.
Oh my goodness.
And so I literally had to take like a towel shirt type thing that I had in my backpack, hang it over the top of like a tumbleweed cactus thing on the trail. And I stayed on the trail. I was on the Dixie Mine Trail, and I literally curled up underneath it. I was cramping in my abs, my quads, my hamstrings were cramping.
Body locks up.
I was in bad shape.
It's the worst.
And with the phone dying, that was a whole nother like thing. You and I were just talking about it, playing a mental game.
Yeah, it's a mental.
Now you have no communication with anybody. Your
Yep.
phone is dead, and I had all kinds of things going through my head. But I mean, I'm laying on the ground in like a fetal position, and I am literally I'm feeling like I'm gonna black out, fighting that the whole time to not black out. David, you are not gonna die under this. I can't use the word that I use, but you're not gonna die under this freaking cactus tree.
Right.
And all I could think about at the time was calling my sisters. I just wanted to call family, but yet I had no way of communication, and all I had was a buddy of mine that had my pin, hoping that he could get out to me and find me. And what seemed like maybe an hour to 2 hours that I've been sitting underneath this frickin' bush. And now we're talking at this point, it's probably 11 o'clock in the morning. It was in August. So, it's probably at least 105 at that point, 11 o'clock in the morning. And I thought I heard a voice.
David!
I don't know if I was hallucinating or what, but I thought I heard a voice. And when I heard the voice, I had a whistle, not this whistle, but a whistle in my backpack. And I pulled that thing out, and I started blowing that whistle as loud as I could.
It's like Titanic.
And
I
heard this voice, David, I hear you. David, I hear you.
Oh, wow.
And I'll tell you, just hearing that like brought me back to life. And then all of a sudden, around this corner and through the shrubs, comes this good-looking kid, carrying 2 liters of water with him. Man. And it was Jeff, a buddy of mine.
Oh, wow.
And I just remember him telling me that, the pin that you dropped for me was probably 3/4 of a mile off. So know that too, when it comes to like leaving a location or where you're going to be, those things are important because one, they're not always going to be spot on.
Right.
And it's important to be able to do that. And if without that, I can honestly say without, having the technology, I guess, that I had at the time, I might not be here sitting with you today.
Right.
And, I've made some changes as far as the things that I'm using now, like with my phone dying. I was telling you earlier, I know we're kind of changing here, but, I have this, it's a cover for this that's made by a company called Fuzi. And you put your phone in it, and not only is it waterproof, sweat-proof, all the rest of that, but your phone's not going to die. It's some NASA technology that will keep your phone from dying when you're outside in 110-degree weather.
We're in 2025, people. There is a gadget and device and something for everything. And for your phone, there's things to keep it cool. I had the same experience, but before I move on, I just want to say, like, just hearing your story, I already learned from his mistakes. The first one was having something to cover your phone, something to protect your phone from the heat. when my phone overheated, I just got my bandana or shirt and wrapped it around. Not thinking that there's things out there that can keep your phone cool. And now you hear both of us telling you can use this or you can just wrap your phone. That's something to be mindful of as well. That if you're gonna go hiking in the heat, have your phone guarded or covered so it doesn't overheat and go off.
And I hate to interrupt you here,
You're
but
fine.
one of the things, you think about when I was in that state of on the phone and I'm trying to send a pin, I'm probably not thinking like I would have been if it would have been in other circumstances, like Lawrence was saying, wrap it up, put it in your backpack, just even in your pocket, get it out of the direct sun.
Right.
But when you're in that heat exhaustion stage and you're moving quickly towards phase 2, you're not making those
The best decisions.
The best decisions. So knowing this stuff in advance and maybe even practicing it ahead of time.
There you go. Practicing it. That's probably the best thing.
You've got to do those things because when you get where I was, you're not going to be making good decisions.
No, it's a freak out mode. Your mind goes in freak out mode.
Fear, flight,
and your body doesn't know what to do. It's having a hard time responding. So that way your mind's taking all the choices and control because I can't do anything now. You got to make the choice control. And so you got to know how to respond, react. And again, pull over when that happens. Wrap your phone up, learn, keep it cool, and having a whistle. This little whistle right here, come on, we're Boy Scouts.
99 cents.
You don't gotta be a Boy Scout to use this, but 99 cents, Amazon, you can get 30 of these for $5. When I do group adventures, I like my hikers and the participants to have a whistle because, that whistle, that sound travels and, you can hear somebody. And with that being said, to add on to the whistle, this is unique to hear this, okay? This is why you always want to have at least one earphone in or don't have any when you're hiking because God forbid somebody was running past him and was blaring their music loud and he's over here and this guy just ran right past him. He could have saved a life because this person had earphones on, and that's what I look out for when I'm hiking. If you are going to wear headphones, wear them in popular areas where a lot of people on the trails, so you don't have to worry about that,
Or you can be technically savvy like me, and they make these ones actually now that are called shocks that don't go in your ears, they go over, and it's a bone conduction to
your
so
cool. I like those a lot.
And I used to wear those a lot when I would ride because I like to listen to podcasts or music or whatever when I'm out.
The bounce.
But yet I can still hear cars if I'm riding on the road, or if someone was yelling at me, someone needed help.
Those are cool earphones.
I can still hear them with those on, and it's just another thing out there.
Another strategy. You could still listen to music and still hike. It's all about the strategy, to help keep everything balanced. So,
but the best thing, honestly, is not wearing anything at all.
Yeah.
Because if we're gonna get out in nature and have fun and a good time, let's enjoy that.
Yeah,
we can listen to a podcast at a later time.
Exactly. So the phone strategy, keeping that cool, having a whistle on hand, and like David said, be familiarized with using your maps and knowing how to locate a pinpoint and how to use that as well, how to share it with your friends. A little class on your phone by somebody who's educated with their phones can teach you. It takes 30 seconds. There's a strategy for everything and there's ways to go about it. I'll go back way in the day when I first started hiking. I just had my phone in my pocket and it was always shaking and falling out, Now I wear a vest, my phone goes in here. So I've come a long way too. I know I've lost a lot of phones. But before I move on, I will share with you my experience with heat exhaustion. I've actually had heat stroke and heat exhaustion. I've had about 6 in my whole life. And I would say one of the most crucial ones was in my early day of adventuring. I had took my ex and 2 dogs to this beautiful creek, which is very gem-like. Nobody really knows about it. Nobody knows about it. And me and her go, And I didn't tell anybody because I didn't want them to know about it, nor did anybody know how to get to me. So there, I didn't tell anybody, and nobody knew how to get to me. And I backpacked my way into this creek, which was about a 3,000 elevation gain. And I was doing all the muscle work. I didn't want my ex at the time carrying everything. And I was taking my 2 dogs on their first big adventure. So I didn't do my research and homework. So there's 3 things I'm doing wrong there. We had a great time at the creek. We had fun, camped there, right in the water. It's probably one of the most thrilling, exciting adventures I've ever had, because when I opened my tent, I could just get in the water and get out. It was so cool. It was so cool. But it wasn't until hiking out. And hiking out, we woke up in the morning, had a little too much fun in the creek, and didn't plan on getting out of the creek accordingly. Meaning I didn't plan accordingly getting out. I was hiking in the sun. So here we are, we're hiking out. I'm giving my water to my dogs and to my ex. I'm doing all the muscle work. I'm starting to get cramps. And a long story short, after we get through a field of just nothing but cholla, as we're kind of like weaving in and out, and rattlesnakes and weeds up to yay high, the sun is just bursting on us, on me especially, and I'm just running out. And all I can think about is find the car. I could not see the car through all these chollas. I just need to see the car. So my mind's freaking out. My body's losing energy. My ex and my 2 dogs, I can see they're having a hard time. And all of a sudden, everything crashes. My body starts to lock up like the Tin Man. I just clink. I couldn't move. I dropped down. I'm starting to dry heave. My body's throwing up, but nothing's coming out. To make matters worse, these big wasps are swarming around us because I choose to wear the colorless, coolest gear, right? And they're attracted to all that colors because we're the only colorful things out there. My dog's getting attacked by them. My ex loses her phone in the weeds. I'm freaking out because I think she's gonna get bit by that rattlesnake that we passed. She goes back, leaves me to go find it. I'm dry heaving, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, in my head I'm freaking out, what's going on? And she finds the phone, she gets the car, she drives to me, gets to me, I get in the car, and my body was just like a piece of paper crumpled up. I just couldn't unlock. Everything was just tight and locked, and it hurt so bad. It was the most excruciating sores in my body, and it was hard for me to breathe. I was dry heaving, and we got to the closest gas station about 45 minutes later, and I got a nice sugar cold Powerade and was just putting sugar in my body, which wasn't good for you, but at the time you needed. But to look back at it, I had put everybody in danger, even myself, and somewhere where no one even knew where I was. And this adventure gem is still a hard place to get to. And I look back and, I'm just thankful that God was on my side, nothing happened, because it was really unfair for my body and what I put myself through, and others and families. If things would have went south, I could have impacted a whole community and such, and that would have been really heavy to live with and such. So again, this is why we're here talking about heat exhaustion, sharing our experiences, giving you tips and tricks, on what to take and how to stay okay in the sun, how to stay safe in the sun. And yeah, it's a serious thing, and it's happening a lot. It's been happening a lot. And what we need you guys to do now is share this podcast. We need you to be more responsible of a hiker, which our next subject is going to teach you how to be a responsible hiker. And are you a responsible hiker? But utilizing this podcast to really gain knowledge and share with people, because it could be a dog, it could be an infant, it could be someone who got stuck out on the road in a car, it could be anybody put in a situation but not prepared, didn't have the right stuff in their bag, in their car, they didn't plan accordingly. So our next subject is going to be, are you a responsible hiker? Are you a responsible hiker? David, tell us, in your opinion, what it is to be a responsible hiker.
Well, one of the things that you just mentioned, and it comes back to being responsible, I think there's a responsibility to yourself, but there's also a responsibility to others. And one of the things that you had mentioned about, being out there with your 2 dogs and your ex-girlfriend is when you went down, when you were starting to have issues yourself, you weren't being responsible to them.
Nope.
And so you think about so many of the hikers today here in the valley. There's, I don't want to say hundreds, but there's a lot of hiking groups in this valley that meet early in the morning, that may do a sunset hike, that may do something. If you are not prepared yourself, if you are not responsible yourself to go out on whatever adventure you're going out on with others, then you're putting everyone else in that group at a disadvantage. Because God forbid something happens to you. Now you have 1 or 2 or 3 other people that are going to now have to care for you.
Yes.
And we're all kind of suffering through the same thing, potentially anyway. And so from a responsibility standpoint, not only do you owe it to yourself, but you owe it to your friends and the people that might be around you, assuming you're in a group hike.
Right. It's also being inconsiderate.
Oh, yeah.
You think about it, a group hike, but a group hike, some of these people that come on, it's a big deal to them. It could be their only day off. It could be they planned for it. It can be they were training their butt off and they were being responsible and they were following up and you didn't. So you just held the group back. You made them do work, or you just ruined their experience because you didn't do your homework. You didn't follow the guidelines or what was given to you, or you didn't do your homework after even watching this video.
Yeah, and again, people will talk. You were talking earlier about, what is the best time of day to go out? Well, truthfully, the best time of day is to get as much of your adventure, your hike, in before the sun comes up.
Yeah.
The second best time is any time you can get out there. But what's really the difference between, in August here, it could be 90 degrees out at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
So what's the difference between 6 and noon?
Right.
The only difference by going out at noon is you're going to get to that heat exhaustion stage quicker than you would potentially
Stronger
at
UV
6
rays.
o'clock in the morning. That's the only difference between the two. It's not the heat so much as it is you being responsible and being prepared to go out into the environment and go have fun. That's why for me, if I go out at noon, I don't care if it's noon or when it is.
Right.
Because I am always prepared now from my past experiences that if I get in trouble, I have everything I need.
Exactly.
If I need to create shade where there is no shade, I can create shade.
Right.
My phone is not going to die at this point anymore. My location of where I am in real time is within my contacts.
Exactly. Being responsible.
People, know that, or they know where I'm at. Now, do I make a phone call every time I go out to 4 different people?
Right.
No.
Right.
But within the devices that I use, whether it's on my bike or whether I'm on foot, people will be contacted, and those 4 people are responsible people that will help me.
Exactly.
Period.
And again, setting yourself up and looking ahead, it will prevent and really helps.
Even the easiest hike.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say that Tom's Thumb is easy, but the young lady
Tom's
that
Thumb
lost
is
her
not.
life,
Yeah.
Based on pictures we saw, she looked like me almost, except she was wearing a sports bra, black sports bra, no hat, at least based on the picture again that we saw. Was she setting herself up for failure? Possibly. I know I was out that day mountain bike riding. She went out, I believe, at 10:30 in the morning. And her friends or her contacts that she was going to meet with later in the afternoon or early evening, I don't even think reported anything until like 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Because she didn't show up for an appointment, or maybe she was meeting them for early dinner or something. I don't know. But
and that's the fine lining is, the friends on the other end could be like, she probably just got off and she's taking a shower, or she's at home, she forgot to text us back. It's common, it's natural, which is why it took a little later. But when you're in the heat, there's no room for that.
Well, there's no room for between 10 o'clock, say 10:30 in the morning, and 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I hate to be this front with you, but
No,
that's
you're right.
time-wise,
That's a big
difference
gap.
in
That's a big gap.
making it or not making it.
And when we talk about having 4 responsible contacts moving forward, you want to make sure that they're going to be on dot. If you say you're going to be at the mountain at 4, you should be expecting a call or something from them around 4 or 5 or on dot 4.
Well, one of the things, when I called this buddy of mine, what seemed like a couple hours that I was by myself, it seemed like forever. And, if she was there till 4 o'clock,
oh man,
that's the difference between potentially making it and not making it.
Oh yeah. Again, you got to know your trails. I'll add a quick story to that. I had a friend take me bike riding over in the 40th Street Preserve, Phoenix area. And he was into biking, and he got me to go biking with him and friends. And long story short, I got a nasty bike accident and pierced my hole in my elbow, broke my arm, and the friends just left me there on the trail so they can go get the truck and come around and get me. What had happened though, 3 hours later, as I'm sitting there bleeding out, getting ready to call 911, I'm like, where the heck are they? They lost the keys on the trail to the car. So they had to go home, get keys, switch cars, and come back and get me, which took them 3 hours. I had so much blood coming out. I did not want to call 911, And this biker comes up and pulls up to me, and he's just putting more fear in my head because he's telling me what can go wrong. And, again, the fear factor really kicks in if you're not set up. And if you don't know yourself well enough or been through certain situations, you have a rude awakening coming in. And I'm sorry to say, if you don't know yourself, because fear is real. The fear there on the trail being lost and no phone. I mean, think about it. We all have our phones in our hands every minute, most of us. I challenge you to put your phone in your room and leave it there for a day, and could you not look at it or freak out with it? That's what it's like to be on the trails. We have no phone, no contact, no nothing when that phone goes off.
I'll tell you, when my phone died, it changed everything about the experience. I knew what was happening. I was aware of what I was going through, but I had never experienced not being able to grab that and call who I needed to. And when that phone died, there were a lot of it was an emotional experience.
It's a realization,
because now all of a sudden it's like I could die out here. I mean, it was all I could think about was trying to get a hold of my sisters, and it was like I wanted to get a hold of them because maybe I wasn't going to be able to see them ever again. And it's there's stuff out there for everything. There really is, and you don't have to spend a lot of money. I mean, I have, because of how active I am and this time of year, this is my favorite time of year, to be honest with you.
Amen.
I would trade August for December any day of the week. I love it. I love getting out in the heat, especially riding my mountain bike, because there's no one else on my trails. I own the trails; they're mine.
People are asking me, "It's like, why do you love the heat and the summer so much?" I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Do you guys see all the waterfalls on that?" I mean, my strategy is I get about 4 a.m. when I take groups on adventures. Now, for new people who sign up, oh my gosh, I gotta get up that early. I'm like, you're damn right. You know why? Because we beat the traffic, we get to see the sun come up, and we are at the adventure before the heat kicks in. Now, if it's a waterfall, we get there when the heat is settling. You're not hiking into the heat, you're there while it's settling. The only heat factor you're worried about is coming out. But that's why you get soaking wet, you get water on your body, and then you hike out to the car, and by the time you get there, you're dry. So this is strategy for everything. And again, hiking in the morning is the best time to do it. A lot of these people that are getting hurt and getting rescued are really ruining it for the people who love hiking during the day and who are responsible. We have trails that are closing down. It's a big ongoing battle between the city and our hikers because we love our trails. We need a hike. Some of us don't get to hike early in the morning. Some of us only can hike in the middle of the day because of our jobs. And it sucks because now some trails are being closed because people are coming out of town and they can't read the huge 10 by 4 bulletin that has a guy like this that's throwing up. You know, do we need to have it in different languages? Is that the problem? Like, what is it?
No,
What's your intake for it?
You know, when I had my last incident, it was pre-COVID, and it was probably a good 8 to 9 months before any conversation of COVID. And at that point, you know, Camelback was open, Piesta was open.
Yeah.
Some of my best times, my sub 30 minutes, I think it was like 27 minutes and change to the top of Camelback, was in August, was in the heat of the day. I want to say it was like 112 or 114.
Hey, yeah.
But when you're moving,
Yeah.
you know, hey, I just didn't care. I loved it. And there were so many times where we did repeats. I think I've done Camelback, you know, like repeats 4 or 5 times in a day, just starting at sunrise, and then maybe you finish by, I don't know, noon or something. And I love it in the heat. But you have to be prepared.
You have to be prepared.
You have to be responsible for yourself, and you have to be prepared.
It's again, you're probably listening to us right now and be like, you guys are crazy hiking in the heat. Well, here's the thing. We've lived in Arizona for so long, and this summer isn't new to us. I know every year, oh, it's so hot. I'm like, isn't it hot every year, right?
It is.
It hasn't even hit 120 yet, and that was like 5-6 years ago. It just popped up on my timeline, and I was always out there. And when you're acclimating and you're always outside, you're getting used to the heat. You're becoming more normal to it. You're adapting to it. And that's the science of it. And when you mentally understand what the heat is doing in the sun, then it also hits you differently too, that combination. For me, I'm so tapped into energy that the sun's giving me energy. I know what it's doing. I take it in differently than what people take it in as. I'm prepared that when I go in the mountain, I'm gonna feel the heat versus walking to my car, oh, it's hot. You know what I mean? There's a time for preparing things and getting your mind ready for it, and also your body becoming accustomed to it. It's like acclimating to elevation on Humphreys.
Yeah.
When you get to 11,000, sit there for 30 minutes, take some Advil, and go to the top. Don't just push through it and give yourself a bulging headache, right? And breathing hard. You gotta learn about your body and how to take care of it, how to adjust to certain things, and whether it's acclimating.
I think there's like a growth period. You know, I think the more you're out there, I think your body grows accustomed. I mean, I think the best example that I can give you, and it's been something that's been more recent in my life, and that is cold plunging.
Oh, okay.
And you know, when I first started cold plunging, I started at like 55 to 60 degrees, and I'd sit in it for, I could sit in it for a half an hour at that temperature.
Oh, wow.
Now it's bath water for me. But over the course of consistency in doing it day after day after day.
Consistency.
I sit in the cold tub now, especially in the summertime. I love it the most in the summer. But I'll sit in it in the summer for at 32 to 35 degrees, and I may sit in it for 3 to 5 minutes.
Right.
But my body over time has adjusted to that, and it's no different than the sun. It's just the opposite of the sun. Is, you know, in the sun I feel comfortable in it. Yeah. But it took time to get there.
Right.
I didn't just do that overnight. I didn't move here from Minnesota and go hiking in the sun at 110 degrees out.
That, for me to hear that, is a wow. I don't do cold plunging, but for me to hear that, I'm like, dang.
But you know, that may be something too that is kind of worked with my psyche a little bit in the last handful of years. Is that I think in order to maybe do some of the things that I do, you got to be uncomfortable, or you got to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yep.
And
that's the soaring eagle mentality right there. Putting yourself through the uncomfortable to become mold into it, to no longer uncomfortable. You are so comfortable doing it. And that's
you still have to be smart though.
Yeah. There's a balance in everything. You know, you just don't want to jump off a cliff and try to do your front flip. You want to go learn the front flip first, and then, you know, do it first, which is how I learned and do it. You know, you just want to be smart about everything. And the cold plunge is a great example. You know, I love the heat. I've never done cold plunge, But for him to do both, and his strategy, which is consistency, every day that my body build up to it, that's all it is. Same with the heat. We're out every day, spend 5 minutes, 10 minutes, spend 20 minutes, 30 minutes, you're up to an hour. And you're picking the right hour of the day, and now you're doing things, you know.
I mean, think about it. If I took you to the cold plunge and I put you in 35-degree water, you may not ever do it again.
Right.
It's no different than if I took a buddy of mine that maybe doesn't live here in Arizona and took him over to Flatiron in August in the middle of the day and wanted to go hike Flatiron.
Right.
He'd probably never want to go hiking again.
See, it's a way to approach things, and there's a strategy to everything. And following that, that's how I do with adventures. It's hard to get people to go on an adventure because they have this vision where, I gotta go fast and do big and do that to do what you do. I'm like, no, I will baby step it into you. I will make it to where it's easy and comfortable. I had my adventures from level 1 to level 4. I'd start somebody off that's new at level 1, give them a nice half a mile hike into a beautiful creek, and there's my little hook, you know? So it's an approach, a strategy, it's being mindful, and overall it's being responsible.
Yeah.
And so that is what our podcast is about today, and it's been about. And I feel like we've covered a lot of information other than what is heat stroke, our experience with the heat stroke, how to be responsible, know what to look for, how to avoid certain situations in the heat, and more else. If you need some training or you want more education, you can sign up for hike training on the website, Soaring Eagle Adventures Arizona, or you can follow David Frank, which we're both tapped into the hiking industry, and there's so many groups you can join to hike, to be saved, to learn things and such on. So I really hope that you take some information, education, and some awareness from this video.
Yep.
And is there anything else that you would like to add, David?
Not at this point. I mean, I think that when you throw out too much information, it's hard to grasp everything. I think the biggest thing is just being responsible and being prepared, knowing what you can do. You know, at the end of the day, both of us here for one reason only, and that is to help others and make sure that, you know, these rescues and these deaths are brought to a minimum.
Right.
And if it's a matter of helping one person, then I'm happy.
Right, and that it should be taken serious. The heat exhaustion should be taken serious, and that anytime you hear somebody go outside, you need to do your part and be one of their contacts.
You know, if you feel like you're getting a headache, if you're feeling nauseous or dizzy, or you know, really, you have to. One of the things too that, and I'll just make this real quick. The difference between heat exhaustion and heat stroke is heat exhaustion, you're sweating. And you might even be profusely sweating. Heat stroke, you're not sweating.
Right.
And the reason that is because of a lack of that in your body. You have to remember that, you know, your muscles are made up of about, I want to say somewhere in the range of 65 to 70% water. And you know, you think about it, if you're a sweater like I am, and I was wearing this shirt outside, you ever come back before and had that line across your shirt with that white kind of chalky crap that's on there? Well, that white chalky stuff is the minerals, the sodiums, the potassium, things like that come out in your sweat, and then as your shirt dries, it leaves that line on there.
Or sometimes on your face and sweat.
Oh
sometimes.
yeah, I mean, gosh, I have dogs, so you know, when I get home, a lot of times my dogs are licking my arms or legs or something. Well, it's not because of the water; it's because of the salt. It's like David's a big salt lick.
Yeah.
And you know, those are things that you've got to be aware of, and I'm sure we'll talk about them more, and I'll keep trying to educate some. I had someone yesterday on social media. I posted something about the thermal pack for your phone, and I'm not going to mention anybody's name, but this gal would be someone that I would look up to from a hiking standpoint. She's out all the time, all over the state of Arizona, and when she saw that posted, she was like, oh my gosh, I never thought about that. That is so great. So if there's just one thing that, you know, whether it's a whistle, whether it's, you know, carrying stuff to hydrate you, whether it's something for your phone, plan ahead, be responsible, and make those decisions, because it's not expensive to be prepared
Mhm.
and be responsible out on the trail.
Right, exactly. And to end it off, to know the difference between heat exhaustion and heat stroke, one of them that I like to add on is, your heart, if it's fluttering really hard, that's when you need to call 911 and pull over. And that's where we'll leave it off right there. Our next podcast, we'll be talking about a heat stroke and give you more information on that. This is going to be an ongoing topic that we are going to be talking more about on this platform, talking more about heat exhaustion and heat stroke and more on through other episodes. So again, we didn't want to cram and overdo it in just one, but just enough to give you the basic and the principles and how to stay safe and be aware. And again, anything we can do to impact one life. So again, thank you guys for watching on my third official podcast. Thank you, David, for being here. I got you a shirt right there, my man.
I appreciate it.
For you.
Thank you.
And again, we'll have another podcast soon. I really appreciate you for being here.
I look forward to it.
And thank you guys all for watching. If you have not yet subscribed, please push the subscribe button down below and follow our social media channels. And if you want hiking, training, or join an adventure, sign up. It's on the website. Until then, guys, soar safe and always soar above and beyond.
Thank you.
You can't hang out with chickens and expect to soar with eagles.